Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Duke and Dutch Show. Yay! Sorry, I was trying to be Kermit the Frog there. We got a lot to talk about. The ceasefire in the Israeli-Iran war, which just got flipped on its head in a matter of like 4 to 6 hours. And it's like lawsuit day, too. We have a lot of lawsuit to talk about, from the criminal to the civil, and everywhere in between, because one of the people we're going to talk about is being sued twice. Karmelo Anthony, Lilly, Tino, and what's happening over on YouTube with the H3H3 podcast going after Casey Tron, Denims, and Frogan. But before we start that up, Duke, how's your morning going today?
It is a rough morning for me. Got a mouse in the house. Been up since 3 o'clock. Now I have a migraine, but let's get to it. It's
All
a
right.
good 92, I think, degrees right now.
I don't want to think about how hot it is. It's so unbelievably hot here. I think I was better off when I was down in Florida.
It's not as hot as it was yesterday, but yeah, it's pretty hot.
It's pretty damn hot though. So I was really kind of prepared to eat my words on this. You know, we have been talking about this. I think this is our fourth day in a row covering this topic about it, the Israeli-Iran escalation and all that, the preemptive defense, yada, yada, yada. We got this nice picture with Trump and Vance and DC Drano. Every president since Clinton talked about stopping Iran's nuclear program, but President Trump actually did it. Then he negotiated a peace deal between Iran and Israel, and we didn't lose a single American soldier in the process. He is the greatest president of our lifetimes. Well, I agree with some of that sentiment, not all of that sentiment exactly, but I think Trump is a pretty good president. But all presidents seem to have this same fatal flaw of getting involved in the Middle East, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So,
doesn't matter what side of the coin they're on, they all seem to have an interest in the Middle East.
Well, we were talking about this yesterday too, and I was, like I told you, I was totally prepared to eat my words, totally prepared to say, hey, I misjudged the situation, and if Trump took out these nuclear facilities, it doesn't seem like there were any civilian casualties, and none that are being reported yet. And, you know, basically that, I don't know, I guess he kept our allies happy, which I'm not really super crazy about Israel, as everybody knows, or the Israeli government anyway. Let me say the Israeli government, but this came out on Truth Social as of yesterday from Donald J. Trump, 47 himself. Congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. It's gonna be great. Trump 2052, Robo-Trump. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire, and upon the 24th hour, an official end of the war, or official end of the 12-day war, will be saluted by the world. During each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful. Note, peaceful and respectful. They both are going to do it. You're going to see. It's 12-day war. It's over. On the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will. It will. Definitely. There will be no blowback. Everyone's going to respect the deal. I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina and the courage and the intelligence of Trump. To end the 12-day war. This is a war that could have gone on for years and destroyed the entire Middle East, but it didn't. Vote Trump, and never will. God bless Israel, God bless Iran, God bless the Middle East, God bless the United States of America, and God bless the world. And I saw this statement, and I said, man, well, I think maybe I did misjudge Trump. Maybe he is really playing 5D chess here, and I just don't know what I'm talking about. But of course, that didn't happen. This did not happen at all. Our greatest ally didn't listen to us. What a surprise. Who could have seen it coming? Not me. All right, so we're going to play this clip here from me, himself, the Don, Orange Man himself, and about what he says about the ceasefire that has been violated now by both sides, Israel and Iran. Who could have seen it coming?
Yeah.
You know, I've been called a lot of nasty things over the last week. Oh, you don't support Trump. He's playing 5D chess. You got no idea what the guy is doing. And I really started to think that yesterday. I was like, oh, you know what? If he can negotiate this deal, I mean, it will be good, no matter what happened or what I think of bombing Iran or anything like that, or how I don't like the Israel bootlicking. If there could be peace, which is all I want, I don't want wars. But well, let's see what C-SPAN has, or what Trump has to say to C-SPAN here.
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too. Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I've never seen before. The biggest load that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on it.
Yeah, seriously.
It's so weird.
That's literally what they did.
It's almost like the Israeli government shouldn't be trusted. I feel so I mean, I don't want this war to go on, but I do feel a little vindicated. It's almost like you shouldn't trust Benjamin Netanyahu because he's a liar.
Yeah.
Which we've proven on this program.
And that's what he cares about.
Over and over.
So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand?
Yeah, and this is exactly the reason that we should not be involved. They want to blow each other up. Hey, blow each other up. I mean, with Israel said with the whole, and maybe that was just for the cameras and whatnot. Netanyahu came in and said, we don't need the bunker bombs from America. We don't need any help to deal with Iran. And maybe that was just all for the cameras. It probably was.
Been part of the strategy to, throw Iran off, thinking, oh no, they're not going to use military.
I'm not a military tactician here. Nobody's ever confused me with Sun Tzu. But all I'm saying is, if they can't get any of their missiles into the air, they can't get any of their fighters into the air. Is it really a concern that we got to trick them out in the media? I don't know.
Yeah.
Trump's been duped. He was duped by Israel. Nobody saw it coming, unless you were paying attention.
Understand that?
So I got this. This is a little more of an extended clip right here about the whole thing. It's going to replay that same thing. We'll skip over that part. But
the sides accuse each other for violating the ceasefire. So
I think they both violated it. I don't think I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back. I don't like the fact that Israel went out this morning at all, and I'm going to see if I can stop it. So as soon as I get away from you, I'm going to see if I can stop it, okay?
Yeah, and this is going to, I get it. They're our greatest ally. I'm sure AIPAC put a lot of money into Trump's coffers when he was running, and we know he was up against the $1.5 billion Democratic Party, the DNC, who just, it's like they just trickle in money like it's water. But it's like, man, our greatest ally, folks, our greatest ally didn't listen to us.
Color ceasefire that ended the war, and after we already supposedly neutralized all of the potential nuclear threats.
The only thing I have to say about this is at least Trump seems pissed off. And he seems like he's recognizing maybe we shouldn't be dealing in the Middle East. Maybe we shouldn't be dealing with, there are people that we do deal with in the Middle East, obviously. Maybe not the entirety of the Middle East.
You can't just lump the whole thing. Yeah,
Israel, it's like, dude, I'm not.
Personally, I like to see his. He's pretty genuine with his statements right now.
I think he's pissed off.
I'm fucking pissed off. He's using rash language, and I think this situation calls for it. He needs Netanyahu and anyone else that is guilty of not listening to the ceasefire.
The Ayatollah.
Listen, you guys fucked up. Cut this shit the fuck out, or this shit is going to go real south real quick. Cut it out.
I don't want it to go south. I don't care. Just let's not be involved. Let's not be involved. We shouldn't be involved anyway. Yeah. Israel wants to blow up Iran. Okay.
No wars. What it comes down to is whatever happens between them two is whatever happens between them two. Exactly. No wars. We should not be boots on the ground anywhere. We should not involve. We should not lose a single U.S. citizen's life due to someone else's problems.
100% agree.
Netanyahu, sir. Have you spoken to him this morning? How confident are you that Iran is going to take the homeless
I think it's been completely demolished. I think the reason we're here is because those pilots, those B-2 pilots, did an unbelievable job. And you know,
And they did. And shout out to them for pulling off, I mean, what seems like a pretty flawless mission, and a mission that probably, when Trump says that nobody else could have done it, he's probably right. You know, we do have one of the most advanced militaries in the world. It's just how do we want to...
successful it was and how accurate they was. Absolutely, I agree. I don't really see any other military force
But it's,
doing it as efficient.
But it's just how are we going to use that military, and who should we use that military with? And I don't think, I think this whole greatest ally nonsense, it's like, I don't know.
the fake news, like CNN in particular, they're trying to, you know, they're trying to say, well, I agree that it was destroyed, but maybe not that destroyed. You know what they're doing? They're really hurting great pilots that put their lives in the line. CNN is scum, and so is MSDNC. They're all, and frankly, the networks aren't much better. It's all fake news, but they should not have done that. Those pilots hit their targets. Those targets were obliterated, and the pilots should be given credit. They're not after the pilots, they're after me. They want to try and demean.
You don't believe that Iran can rebuild its nuclear program?
No, Iran will never rebuild its nuclear. From there? Absolutely not. That place is under rock.
And we don't really, but we don't, it hasn't been released to us. It's been kind of speculated, but the actual level, I mean, they're saying, you know, obviously 60% enriched uranium, which I guess is part of making a nuclear weapon. And so that is our specifications for going in there. But as we saw with the clip, and I could pull up that clip over and over and over again of Benjamin Netanyahu for the past 30 years, getting in front of the cameras and saying, oh, they're weeks away. They're weeks away from creating a nuclear weapon. It's like, well, that was 30 years ago, buddy. So
Apparently it took them 30 years to get 60% enriched uranium. I don't know.
That place is demolished. The B-2 pilots did their job. They did it better than anybody could even imagine. They hit late in the evening. It was dark with no moon, and they hit that target with every one of those things, and that place is gone. But when I see CNN all night long, they're trying to say, well,
it's fake
maybe
news.
It wasn't really as demolished as we thought. It was demolished. You take a look at the pinpricks, and you see that place is gone. And I will say, I think CNN ought to apologize to the pilots of the B-2s. I think that MSDNC ought to apologize. I think these
I don't think they
really,
will.
These networks and these cable networks are real losers. You really are. You really are.
And
those networks don't have a good track record of taking back any of their statements.
And I'm sure there's people from CNN and MSNBC there right now interviewing Trump.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
You're gutless losers. I say that to CNN because I watch it. I have no choice. I got to watch that garbage. It's all garbage. It's all fake news. But I think CNN is a gutless group of people, and the people that run it, nobody even knows it's been sold so many times. But the people that run it ought to be ashamed. MSDNC, a guy named Brian Roberts, he heads it. He's a disgrace. He's a weak, pathetic disgrace.
It says that Iran violated the peace agreement and the ceasefire agreement. Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
And we saw this part of the clip already, so I'm not going to play it. Obviously, Trump is not happy. He's never happy with how he's portrayed in the media. Trump really gets the short end of the stick. There was a... What was it? When during the 2024 presidential election, and I think I brought up this statistic before, 84% of coverage of Kamala Harris from CNN, MSNBC, positive. 91% Donald Trump, negative. And yet, you know, oh, there's no bias in the media. It's like, dude, I mean, not that Fox doesn't have their biases too. I mean, everyone has their biases, but I mean, it's just so blatant. There is no Walter Cronkite journalism anymore. It's all just a cesspool of just shilling for your party. They're extensions. I mean, it's the fourth branch of the government, literally, is the media. So
It's all who pays for them. Yeah, who pays for their job.
Oh, Trump says Iran-Israel ceasefire is ineffective. Both sides violated it. So we will see how that goes. President Trump voiced frustration with Israel and Iran on Tuesday morning after the Middle East arch rivals indicated they were complying with an apparent ceasefire agreement he announced just hours earlier. But Israel then accused Iran of launching more missiles and vowed to retaliate. Mr. Trump said both countries had violated the terms, and he demanded that Israel recall warplanes and not drop those bombs. I wonder if they're going to listen to him. It was unclear whether Israel had already dispatched any jets to carry out new strikes on Iran, but Mr. Trump spoke after the... What do they say? Mr. Trump. President Trump spoke after the Israeli defense chief said he had ordered further attacks on Tehran. The U.S. president, after reportedly speaking directly with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on the phone, then posted a message on his social declaring that Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home. While doing a friendly plane wave to Iran, nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. Thank you for your attention to this matter, which was the Truth Social post we already covered. Obviously, President Trump, I don't know, I guess he has a little too much faith in Benjamin Netanyahu, which I don't get. We don't have any faith in Zelensky, and I totally agree with that. I don't put any faith in anything Zelensky says, but some reason Israel, our greatest ally, we have a lot of faith in the Israeli government when we know the Israeli government is going to do, obviously, and as probably they should, they are going to do whatever is best for the Israeli government. We give them way too much, help. President Trump, on his way to the Netherlands for a NATO summit, told reporters on Air Force One that he did not want to see regime change in Iran, and that he had made that point in his call with Netanyahu. It's enough, Mr. Trump said, of Israel's attacks on Iran, and they did call back warplanes, which I respect very much. Nobody was killed. A White House source told CBS News that Mr. Trump was exceptionally firm and direct in his call with Netanyahu about what needed to happen to sustain the ceasefire. And the source said Netanyahu had understood the severity of the situation and the concerns President Trump expressed. Clearly not. The apparent ceasefire agreement, which Iranian officials never formally confirmed they had begun honoring, appeared to falter within just a couple hours early Tuesday. In light of Iran's complete violation of the ceasefire declared by the U.S. president and the launch of the missiles towards Israel, and in accordance with the Israeli government's policy is determined to respond forcefully to any violation, I've instructed IDF in coordination with the Prime Minister to continue the intense activity of attacking Tehran to thwart regime targets and terrorist infrastructures. And this could just be it too. It's like maybe, Israel really is pushing for this regime change, and that's what they want. Clearly, obviously, as Trump said, and shout out to the veterans, the pilots, all those people who carried out this very dangerous, very taxing, 34-hour mission, something like that. Clearly, Israel has no respect for them, as I would say anyway. Because, you violated the ceasefire. And of course, they're going to say Iran did it first. Iran, I'm sure, will say Israel did it first. Maybe it was a miscommunication. Who knows? But I don't know. I say it's kind of embarrassing. And I'm kind of sick of Israel claims Iranian attack after ceasefire. Iran denies it. Yeah, that's what I just... Of course. That's what's going to happen here.
They're all pointing the finger at the
everyone's going to point the finger at somebody else. At least 1,000 people killed in 12 days of Israeli-Iran strikes. Drones hit bases in Iraq housing U.S. troops. And that's not good either. It's like, I'm not going to read the rest of this article here. I don't think we need to. And I'm a little sick of talking about this. I got on here yesterday and we talked about it, Duke. I said, I'm so prepared. I got to eat my words. I thought this was a terrible escalation. I don't think we ever should have gotten involved. But Operation Midnight was it was a great success for the United States military, but it did involve us in the conflict. But it seemed like, hey, if the ceasefire went through, that'd be great. Now we're in this weird middle situation where it's like Israel isn't listening to us. Iran definitely probably shouldn't be listening to us just because we bombed them. So I get that. But Israel, they don't care either. It's like, they're going to look out for Israel and, as they should. If you're, I just don't want to get involved. I really don't. I don't want to see this escalate into a World War III situation.
We're just gonna have to see what they do with the ceasefire, if they're actually going to...
It does. It strikes me. It strikes me as weird that it's like, if somebody would have told me that Benjamin Netanyahu would not be held to his word, I'm shocked. Just shocked.
Yeah, shocking.
I'm blown away. I
would never have guessed it.
And again, this isn't about the. I want to make this very clear. It's not about that. I don't think Israel has a right to exist or anything like that. But obviously, the Israeli government, I think you can criticize it and you should criticize it because, especially when they're our greatest ally, I think a lot more of the blame goes on them than it does on Iran. I just do. I mean, that's the way I
They're
see it.
supposed to be one of more civilized governments in the Middle East, and they sure as hell aren't acting like it.
Well, they're definitely not. But we're going to leave that there. Hopefully, I mean, we're probably going to be talking about it's like, that story we did a couple weeks ago with the Biden thing. We had to keep covering that over and over and over again. And it's just, we'll probably be talking about this again on Friday. Hopefully, maybe the ceasefire will go through. But obviously,
these in a positive way.
These two countries, obviously, they don't trust each other. And you know what? The only thing I can say to that is that we should not trust them either. We shouldn't be involved. Let them do whatever they're gonna do.
Yep.
But until
not our war,
until the AIPAC money starts funneling into Congress on both sides, the Republicans and the Democrats, I think we are going to probably, I don't know. I just hope it doesn't escalate. But let's move on to something else. We are going into, I was trying to find a good nomenclature for this. It's like the Lawsuit Wednesday, but I couldn't think of anything. But, we're going to be talking about lawsuits from here on out, folks. But really quick, if you haven't, can you please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below.
I'm sorry. I have such a horrible migraine. I'm constantly yawning and everything. But
You're fine, you're fine.
Let us know what's going on, what you think of the segment, and do you think the ceasefire is going to take? Is it actually going to work?
Well, one would hope. Or even if it doesn't.
That's what I'm hoping for. Yeah.
Hopefully we don't get any more involved than we are. And hopefully Trump, he seems rightfully pissed off. I hope he carries that through. But yeah, like I said, I was trying to think of good wording for this, and I really couldn't. Lawsuit Wednesday. But we're talking about lawsuits from here on out, folks. Lawsuits. Some of them criminal, some of them civil. One interesting case in the middle, it's going to be both. Hopefully. But this obviously is just a criminal lawsuit for now. I'm sure there will be a civil lawsuit in time. Karmelo Anthony was just charged with first-degree murder, and he's being tried as an adult. If convicted, he'll spend the rest of his life in prison with no parole. Anyone who needs a little update to this situation, back in April, there was a track meet. Both of these high school students who, from what we know, they did not know each other prior to the incident. Karmelo Anthony, from what we're being told, was under the wrong tent or something. Austin told him to move. Escalated to the point where Karmelo took Austin's life. And there's been a lot of outrage over this.
Yep.
Whole GoFundMe.
As we said before in previous reports, there's people on both sides. They haven't actually released the footage, which is probably best interest to the community and to the parents. And nobody wants to have such sensitive footage of their loved one being unalive readily available to the public. I know I wouldn't.
Yep, but we're gonna hear here from Collin County District Attorney Greg Willis, who is announcing that the grand jury has decided to indict Karmelo Anthony for first-degree murder. Now, we know from this is that the grand jury would have already seen this footage, and from what I hear, it's not like the best footage. It's kind of across the field or whatever. I guess you can kind of see kind of what happens, but it's not like an up-close type of thing. But yeah. I really think if the grand jury has seen this footage and they chose to indict on first-degree murder, then it doesn't seem like this self-defense claim is going to hold up too well.
I was just about to say, it was clearly enough footage, enough evidence to charge him with what he got charged with.
Yep.
Because they wouldn't charge anybody with something that's pretty
serious.
Well,
I think the whole thing that he's out on bail for first-degree murder is kind of... I've never heard of anybody being out on bail for first-degree murder. I mean, I'm sure it does happen.
His stance from the beginning has been self-defense, which I'm sure other people's have been too.
We're going to get into that in a little bit too. But first, let's hear what this gentleman has to say.
Good afternoon. Earlier this spring, our community was shaken by what happened at a school track meet in Frisco. The violent loss of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. For weeks now, my team has been presenting evidence to the grand jury, and today I summarized that evidence, and I asked the grand jury to return a first-degree murder indictment against Karmelo Anthony, which they did. With this indictment, the case now moves formally into the court system. From this point forward, we'll continue doing our job both.
I think it's also crazy it's taken. I mean, this happened back, I think, April 2nd, I believe. So I think it's kind of crazy that it's taken this long to actually do that. But the wheels of justice do move quite slow in America. So.
Fully and fairly to pursue justice under the law. As for the scheduling of the trial, that will be up to the court. But when the time comes, we will be ready. Now, we know that this case has struck a deep nerve here in Collin County and beyond. And that's understandable. When something like this happens at a school event, it shakes people to the core. But let's remember that the justice system works best when it moves with steadiness and principle. That's what we're committed to, and that's what this case deserves. We're also mindful of Austin's family and everyone who loved him. Please keep them in your thoughts, and if you're willing, your prayers as well. Finally, let's remember that a defendant is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law.
All right, so that is the official stance from the prosecution, and they're saying obviously the grand jury feels like there's enough evidence to indict him on first-degree murder, and probably with all the high-profile stuff going, I mean, this is going to be a huge case. I guess this happened in Collin County. It probably won't take place in Collin County just because you'd have to find 12 people who have never heard of this case before, which is quite wild, you know. If anyone's, you know.
I forget what updates we had. Was he I'm sorry, the gentleman that has been indicted, what's his name?
Karmelo Anthony?
Karmelo Anthony. Was he allowed to graduate?
I'm not sure. Well, the school's official position where they were going to allow him to graduate.
Yeah.
And I think
it'd be interesting to see now. Like, did they let a
potential, that would have already passed. You know, it's the 25th.
Yeah.
I would imagine the school's out right now.
It'd be interesting now to see. Like, I really hope they didn't, because now that he's facing these charges, like, it's definitely gonna look bad if they did.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, that's passed already. I think that was stupid.
Yeah.
I don't think, you know, if somebody is
I don't think he
kills somebody on school's ground. I don't really think that you should be really doing them any favors. But of course, we're gonna have some people who are gonna disagree here. The pro blackity blacks, who are, you know, they know about as much about the situation as we do. But I think this is why this is so interesting too. This really got turned into like a whole race war type thing. And we talked about that too at the Shiloh Hendricks case and why there was a response to that. But well, let's hear what
what's the word that you label it as? Tribalism?
Tribalism. Or just racism.
It's that. I mean, it's all on the
but
same
there's a lot of pro blackity blacks out there who they know as much about it as we do, but they are going to the mattresses for this guy.
5 to 99 years, yo. Now I've heard about this situation. I've heard about this incident. And let me just tell y'all what I heard about it, because I knew nothing about it until like last week. So long story short, what I heard was he was being bullied at school and he simply defended himself.
No. That's wrong. As far as we know, Karmelo Anthony Anthony was suspended from school previously to fighting. Now, whether he could have been bullied in school, that's possible. But as far as we know, from everything that's come out,
no reports of it.
Austin Metcalf and Karmelo Anthony did not know each other prior to this incident. So
yeah, there was no previous bullying between the two.
No, they didn't know each other.
I haven't heard of a single bullying thing until now. If that's maybe the type of defense he's trying to use, that's new material to me. But my understanding of the situation is he's always been a violent aggressor in school, has been suspended and whatnot for his violent aggressions.
You know the weird thing too, when we talked about this beforehand too, right before we started this, I said, you know, sometimes it's like I feel like I get a little out of my depth with these topics. So I come on here and I'm like, I really want to be very careful. I do have a correction to say too. For some reason, I thought Meyer Lansky said, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. I believe that was actually Seneca. I don't know why I thought that was Meyer Lansky. But yeah, it was Seneca. They're not even in the same millennium. Sorry about that, folks. That is a correction I had to make. But anyway, but anyway, going back to my point is, you know, you don't want to be wrong or look like a fucking jackass on the internet. And yet these people come up here and they're like, well, I heard this or I heard that. It's like, you know, you could just Google what's available information here. But
yeah.
All right, let's continue with this gentleman.
Now, I also heard that he was wrong because he brought, you feel me? He brought something to school to defend himself. He brought it to school. And yeah, you're not supposed to have that at school. Yeah, I understand that. I understand the rules. I understand the regulations. I get it. But what nobody else is understanding is him. Now, I'm not throwing it off on him. You know,
oh man,
this dude, he's no longer with us no more. You feel me? So it's like it's kind of like it's kind of up in the air. But as I was reading the comments, Karmelo Anthony has a lot of support behind him.
Yep.
How is it up in the air? Like he's making a statement. Oh well, I mean it's still up in the air. Like no, all the evidence shows, all the testimony shows clearly enough that the grand jury is willing to prosecute him on these charges that it wasn't self-defense, like he stated to the police. So that right there, he lied to the police on top of what he did.
2,400
to try and cover his tracks.
2,436 likes on TikTok, 218 comments.
And like you said,
247 bookmarks, reshares or something.
He clearly doesn't know the actual facts of the situation because he's just talking about, oh, well, this is how I feel. This is like he's not actually stating any facts about anything that's happened. So like you said, it's he's literally speaking just on the basis of tribalism. Like, oh, this is a young man, nobody understands him. Like, what did they not understand?
No, I think this is you're being lied to. As soon as the video was released, the video of this incident, immediately he was charged with first-degree murder, not manslaughter, not second-degree, first degree. Exactly. And that's what nobody seems to be talking about. Once the grand jury indicts and they
charge, there has to be undoubtable proof that man maliciously did what he did.
Yeah. They wouldn't have indicted on first-degree murder unless, you know.
If there was any question on self-defense in that video,
we
wouldn't have gotten that charge.
And obviously, we have not seen the footage, but a select few people have seen the footage, and from what they're saying is after that video was released, they said, we're going to indict on first-degree murder. It doesn't make a good, compelling case for Karmelo Anthony.
No.
And for something like this, he's facing a lot of time for it.
Yeah, he killed somebody.
I don't really agree with the time.
He killed someone.
If you want to go by book, I mean, I don't know. Y'all got to help me out with this one. And this also...
I'll help him
consequences
out.
Of your
I'll help him. He killed somebody. All right, let's continue.
A lot of people, you know, in the comments I was saying that, you know, he was being set up. And that could potentially be true. But...
Oh, no,
he's being set
just
up
tell y'all
to unalive someone. How does that fucking make sense?
Yeah.
He's being set up.
We got one more
time. Unaliving someone.
There were a lot of TikToks. This is one of the more tame ones, actually, because this guy, at least you could be like, he just doesn't know.
This is a tame one?
Yeah, this is.
I never saw this one.
This is a tame one.
This is a live reaction by me, but I don't care if I have a migraine. I don't care how shitty I feel. The comments that I'm hearing right now in the last 30 seconds is just fucking stupid. Absolutely goddamn stupid. There's people out here talking to the masses, spitting this fucking toxic bullshit. Like, oh my God. There's somebody that lost their life, and this is what you say.
Well, that's the thing I don't understand. I don't understand the time. It's like he
fucking disrespect to that fucking to that young man and the life that he won't get to live.
Yeah, and his fracture.
That man in that video should be ashamed of himself.
You should. I doubt he will be. Let's continue though.
Is looking at this. They're looking at it like we have somebody that is no longer with us no more, regardless of what happened in the situation. And even in self-defense, they still look at it like that, and they still try to give.
If they thought it was a self-defense situation. Hey, shout out to Sam Hyde. If they thought it was a self-defense situation, they would not have indicted him on first-degree murder charges.
How can you have self-defense if one person didn't have a weapon?
Well,
the other person didn't.
The interesting thing is Texas is a stand-your-ground state, which means that you are allowed to respond to as much force that is given to you. But the problem with that is stand your ground doesn't work when one person has a weapon and escalates the situation and the other person doesn't have a weapon. That's not stand your ground. That's called being the aggressor in the situation.
That's not self-defense. That's not anything. Like you're the aggressor.
And if they thought if they really believed it was self-defense, like I said, it would have been a manslaughter charge, maybe second degree. They wouldn't have done first degree. First degree is premeditation. Yeah. So they are now saying, and they're going to have to prove that obviously in court. And Karmelo Anthony, he does Obviously, I don't think it looks good for him, but he has the presumption of innocence in the court of law, and we're going to see how that's going to play out. But I don't think the grand jury would have indicted on first-degree murder, but I'm talking in
not
circles
speculating
here.
what's in that video, but what I can say is, like we already said numerous
Well,
times,
if it was-
there's clearly enough evidence.
If it was a self-defense situation, they would have done a manslaughter charge, maybe second degree. They wouldn't have done first degree. First degree apply, it implies. I mean, it doesn't actually imply. It is premeditation. So I guess what they're going to have to prove is that he went there looking for somebody to start something with, so he could do something like this.
The person that defended themselves time. And it's so sad that our system is like this. Crazy thing is, it takes so long for something like this, for a case like this to go through, and it's still always
That's called your Fifth Amendment rights, buddy. You can always waive them. Jesus Christ,
one-sided for some reason. Like it really makes no sense. Y'all
Say what you really mean.
What's up. Like,
say
really,
what you
let me know
mean.
what's up.
He was black. That's what you want to say. You don't like it because the black person is being held responsible for killing a white person. That's what you mean. Just say that.
How is it one-sided when there was even talks about him still graduating? How is it one-sided when the father of the boy that is not alive anymore went on record trying to say that he forgave?
He tried to de-escalate the situation. I think honestly,
how is it one-sided?
Honestly, man, he's a better man than me. It couldn't be me.
No, I would never have that reaction. We already talked about it. I would never have that reaction. But your claims of it being one-sided, your claims of the favoritism or whatever you're trying to spew is unfounded. It's absolutely unfounded.
I think Karmelo Anthony, for the situation that he's in, has been given a lot.
He's had a very favorable situation.
He's been given a lot of grace.
And like we stated before, is he in jail?
No.
Is he in jail?
Which is crazy on a, if you're going to try to get him on first degree murder, for him to be out and walking around, and he's not.
Very few people facing that charge are out on bond.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't sound too one-sided to me.
Like I said, I've heard a little bit about this, but I really feel like I needed to speak on this. So
I really feel like
you should find out more about it.
My guy, you should get a little more educated on it before.
Do your research.
So, let's see. Let's see what this gentleman has to say here. Maybe
He's looking too good for Karmelo
Maybe he'll be a little more reasonable. Let's see.
Anthony right now. And I'm just going to keep it completely honest. Now, I made this video like a year ago. And let me just say this. I'm not on nobody's side. Not black, not white. So don't get in my inbox telling me that we need to stick together because we black. Fuck no. So they hit Karmelo Anthony with the first-degree murder. I said, what? No, y'all didn't. Now, I'm going to say this. And they're going to ruffle some feathers. But I don't care. If you got to take a weapon anywhere, whether it's school, to the club, to the store, anywhere, just don't go. Find another place to go. And to all the kids out there, if y'all getting bullied in school, let y'all parents know. Because half of these situations don't have to go that far. It can be de-escalated sooner. And I'm not putting the blame on Karmelo Anthony. I'm not. Because like I said, I wasn't there, just like y'all wasn't there. And I also want to say, for the people that's out there,
I would put the blame on Karmelo Anthony, but this guy is at least
at least he has a brain cell.
He's being
at least he has one brain cell.
No, he's being reasoned with his take, I think.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, during the bullying, be mindful of what can happen over your actions, because you never know what a person going through, whether it was the Metcalf family or the Anthony family.
I would agree with that, but it's like, I don't think that Austin Metcalf approached him and said, you got to move out of this tent, man. You're in the wrong spot, thinking he was going to die. Because, I mean, it's like, if that's the metric, it's like, then, I mean, I guess it's true. Nobody's ever really safe. I mean, you could get hit by lightning. I was reading this.
By that statement, though, so you're telling me that I should never have a conversation with anybody I don't know because I don't know how they're going to handle what I say to them.
Well, I think this gentleman's just saying, you got to always be careful. You don't know what anyone's going through and all that stuff like that. I remember
again, so because I don't know what anyone's going through, I should never communicate or associate or talk to anyone because, hey, I don't know how they're going to react.
Well, there are de-escalate. I remember I was on vacation the one time, right? I'm in a strange place. I don't really know where I am. I'm walking around. I had just gone to the store. I got something, right? And I'm a pretty fast walker, I think, or above average walker. I zip a little bit, right? There's a guy in front of me. He's kind of like going really slow. And I notice he just stops. He's probably about 15, 20 feet in front of me. And he just starts bashing his head into the wall. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of crazy, man.
Yeah.
So I'm like, should I pass this guy or should I walk to the other side of the street? And I'm like, you know what? It's probably just better if I just go to the other side of the street. I don't know what this guy's going through. Maybe he is having a mental crisis. Maybe I should be a better human being. But maybe I don't know if I'm going to approach this guy or I'm going to speed up on him or anything's going to happen. Sometimes,
well, in your situation, there's visual cues that kind of help you make that decision.
I don't know if there would have been a visual cue here, and I'm not saying, you know.
I guess the video would be the only dictation of what
which
anything might have taken
which
place.
we don't know that so far. But this guy, this gentleman is he's being measured with his take, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I do appreciate that.
Now, however, I wish this shit never would have went down. I promise you. Because kids these days, they get into it and be best friends the next day. And I'm not telling people not to defend themselves. And I can give y'all a scenario, right? So me personally, I go to Walmart every single day. Now, however, if I get into it with somebody at the Walmart that I normally go to, I'll be dumb as hell to go back to that Walmart because I feel like now I'm looking for trouble. When I can just go the opposite way and go to a whole nother Walmart down the street just to make sure that I'm safe. And this not showing that you scary. It's showing that you a lot mature than the other person is. And you rather not start confrontation. You know what I'm saying? Let me know.
I think his last point's irrelevant. I think my my little story I just told is pretty irrelevant too, because I don't think this was that type of situation. I don't know if there's a visual cue. It's like you're just telling somebody to move out of a tent and they just happen to have a weapon on them that they shouldn't have had there. I don't think Austin Metcalf thought I was going to confront this guy and be like, hey man, you got to move. Or maybe, I mean, listen.
It's already been stated. This was their first interaction.
He might have been a little more aggressive than that. He might, who knows? But it's like he didn't raise it to a physical, he didn't raise himself to a physical threat. And obviously,
either way, if it's the first interaction with somebody, you can't be cautious with your first interaction with somebody.
You should always be
first interaction.
Always be cautious. So I wanted to bring up the Give Send Go, which is now capped out at like $537,000. Let me refresh real fast here just to see. Doesn't seem like there has been donations. People are donating again to it because it has just been updated. An update from the Anthony family, which is actually due to today. The Anthony family would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to everyone who has supported us through the unimaginable tragedy. Thank you all for your prayers, letters, donations, unwavering encouragement. Today we received the official news that the Collin County District Attorney has indicted our son, your nephew, your friend, your neighbor. This is a moment we hoped we would never face. How would you hope you never face that he killed somebody? You knew it was. You don't know if it was.
You were hoping you would never face it, but that's not realistic.
Yeah. Well, listen, and maybe they're giving, maybe the family and friends of Karmelo Anthony are giving him the benefit of the doubt too. They're not there. They haven't seen the footage. Yeah. They're going off of what he's saying actually happened, and all this is going to come out in discovery. So, I can obviously see, supporting your child through this. Yeah. But. Yet, we've been preparing throughout these long and painful months. Through it all, our community, has been our strength. Your support has reminded us that we are not alone. Your love has helped us stand in the face of heartbreak, threats, and misinformation. Now, as the legal process moves forward, misinformation, well, we just had a TikTok with a bunch of misinformation. But now as the but that can come from both sides. So now as the legal process moves forward to trial, we enter an even more intense phase, one that will demand everything from us emotionally, financially, and spiritually. You're going to have to give back that Escalade. You're probably, it's going to be sad. And you're probably going to get sued into oblivion, too, in civil court. But that hasn't happened yet. We are not here to try this case on social media. We are not interested in online arguments and judgment for those who do not know the full story. Well, you don't know the full story either. Sorry about that. Yeah. Karmelo will defend himself in a court of law, not in the court of public opinion, as he should. Some may wonder what this fund is truly for. We want to clarify with transparency and honesty. That's never anyone who is going to do transparency and honesty and they have to state that, I immediately distrust, but that's just me. These funds are being used to cover essential and urgent needs that have arisen as a result of this tragic situation, including but not limited to safe relocation for our family. You've already moved into a mansion, basic living expenses as we've had to uproot our lives. I could see that, I guess. I think the father did have to leave his place of employment, and I could see why. I think he worked at a car dealership, and obviously if you're going to try to sell people cars, you don't want people coming in there and harassing you. Nor should they, and nobody should harass members of the Anthony family. Just gonna throw that out there. Transportation to and from court proceedings, trauma-informed counseling for our entire family, enhanced security measures, and critically retaining qualified legal counsel and a thorough, fair investigative team. While legal expenses are a significant part of this fund, they are only one part. Our family, a loving, God-fearing family, is simply seeking safety, justice, and peace in these trying times. So today, and until his trial date, we humbly ask, please consider making another contribution. Please consider making another contribution to the fund for Karmelo. Please continue to share it within your network. Please stand with us for truth, for justice, for our son. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you. Your prayers, your compassion, your generosity have meant more than words can express. With love, faith, and determination, the Anthony family. I guarantee if I started again, give, send, go for something, I would not be getting $500,000. Especially not for killing somebody. But it's quite a lot. And the outpouring of this, that's why this has got so much attention. It's the outpouring of support for somebody who everyone says, Karmelo Anthony here, self-defense. And
I gotta say, can you go back to that previous page, or did you close it already?
I closed it. You want me to go? I can go back
no problem. No, you're fine. You're fine. I don't need it. The goal is $1.3 million. Why is it $1.3 million?
It got raised up from $1 million because they want more funds. Because
why?
Well, for all the reasons they just specified, I suppose.
I understand courts I understand, legal fees and all that stuff. It's very pricey, but so people are supposed to just donate to pay for them for the rest of their lives? Like, are they never supposed to?
I'm sure they're gonna. I'm sure they're gonna hire the best lawyers they absolutely possibly can.
But you understand what I'm saying, though? Like, are they supposed to just never work again for the rest of their lives because of the situation now? Is that what is being stated?
No, I don't.
Tell me they can't get a job anywhere because of the situation now.
No, I can actually see that. Actually, and if people want to donate, hey, you can donate to whatever, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's not the concern I'm raising, but the fact that they're asking for 1.3 million, I feel is it's borderline greedy. Like, I understand
they're going to hire the best lawyers,
million.
And lawyers can be great, but I think most of it's going to come out in discovery, and I think a lot of it's going to pertain to actually what's on the video, what witnesses say. And I think, obviously, Texas, they think, in Collin County, they think they have a case. Or they wouldn't have...
if I'm not mistaken, wasn't there another individual literally right there when it all happened?
I think multiple. I mean, it was a track meet, so I think there were multiple people around.
In the area.
But,
the video, yeah.
Well, we haven't heard from any of those witnesses, except for Austin Metcalf's twin brother. He was there. He spoke out about it, but obviously that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But...
it's one-sided.
Well, but from the witnesses and what they say,
it's one-sided.
No, not that. It's just I don't think the witnesses.
I'm just being sarcastic because that's what the excuse would be from everyone else.
I was going to say
it's one-sided.
I think that the witnesses. I mean, they shouldn't speak out because obviously it is a criminal proceeding and all that.
They don't need to talk about it.
We will see what's going to happen. Oh, is this?
Grand jury has now indicted Karmelo Anthony.
He is accused of killing another high school student at a track meet. The story has generated national interest, and our JD is live at the Collin County Courthouse, where he's been gathering reaction to this decision. JD.
Oh, man.
Karen and Ken, Collin County District Attorney Greg Willis says his office has been presenting evidence for weeks to a grand jury panel here and asked that panel to return an indictment of first-degree murder on Karmelo Anthony, which they did today.
Now, we know this case has struck a deep
we saw this video.
Here in
I know. I'm going to skip ahead because
accused of fatally stabbing Austin Metcalf.
I want to hear from Karmelo's attorney, who's going to come up in this video. That's what we're playing.
Karmelo Anthony is accused of fatally stabbing Austin Metcalf during a track meet inside a stadium where both of their Frisco ISD high school teams were participating. Anthony told police he acted in self-defense and was provoked by Metcalf during an altercation that preceded the stabbing. Anthony's attorney emphasized his plans to use that defense in a video statement released earlier today.
Self-defense is a fundamental right guaranteed every American.
That is true.
The law is clear. When self-defense is raised by the facts, the law puts the burden squarely on the prosecution to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the citizen accused did not act in self-defense.
The father of Austin.
Yeah, I don't think that's actually true. All right, maybe
I think
maybe
you
it
have
is.
to prove that it was self-defense. You
Yeah,
can't just go off
yeah.
the word.
Austin Metcalf issued a statement to us which says, "I am pleased that we are moving forward with the first-degree murder indictment. It now goes into the court system. I fully believe that justice will be served for Austin Metcalf. I look forward to the forthcoming trial, but it will never bring my son back."
All right, well, we're gonna leave that there because we got other lawsuits to get into. But like I said, there's a lot of people, especially some people in the black community, who I think just see this as a race thing, and I think kind of at this point it has devolved into tribalism, and it is hard to not see it as a race thing.
Sadly, it's getting turned into a race thing, but I don't think the crime itself was a race thing.
No, I don't think I don't think it was either. But I think that just this whole outpouring of support for somebody who they brought a knife to a track meet, they stabbed somebody. You could say it's self-defense, but like I said, Texas is a stand your ground state. But you have to have, you can only stand your ground up to the point where somebody else does something. So
how many times have we reported on, again, not necessarily quite similar, but an instance where an individual commits a crime, has a weapon, and then dies because they were committing the crime and the police had to respond, and then the family's like, oh, they were a good kid.
No,
I don't understand why this happened. He shouldn't have been killed.
I don't think he was a good kid.
He shouldn't have been committing a crime.
I think if somebody brings a weapon to a place where they're not supposed to have it, I think they were looking.
That is not a definition of a good person.
For trouble.
If they're bringing a weapon to a place that is designated not to have a weapon, how does that make you good?
Well, we're gonna find all that out in discovery. We're gonna move on. We have a lot. We have 2 more lawsuits to get through. 2 more lawsuits.
Lawsuit Wednesday.
Wait, I forgot about this part. But we already covered this basically. Reporters were allowed to view the video of Karmelo Anthony murdering Austin Metcalf. Anthony told police he acted in self-defense when he stabbed Metcalf in the heart. The video shows that Anthony attacked Metcalf without any physical provocation. Instead, Anthony was so offended that he was being told to leave the area. He pulled out a knife and stabbed Metcalf. Allegedly.
That's pretty big.
Allegedly, but again,
I'm assuming that's based off of seeing the footage, though. But
that is what people are reporting. People who have seen the footage. Let me just say this: the people who have seen the footage have not come out and been like, "Oh, this is a self-defense case." They have not said that. They actually have gone the other way, and they've indicted for first-degree murder.
I mean, it's going as far as to say that he lied about the self-defense. So they're saying nothing was depicted in self-defense. And again, these pictures right here don't really dictate a good person.
He was a good boy. He didn't do nothing. Yeah. So we're going to move on to another lawsuit. If you don't know, this is a transgender influencer and TikTok star. We'll put that in quotes, star Lilly Tino. Now, if you don't know, and luckily for you, if you don't know, I'm sorry I have to bring you this terrible and tragic news because this is one of the most insufferable people, I think, on the planet. And I know I got in a lot of trouble years ago for criticizing Dylan Mulvaney. And this person, I think, is definitely exceeds that limitation. But if you don't know, Lilly Tino is a transgender, I don't know the term, woman, man. Trans man who became a woman. Is that a trans woman or just a woman or whatever you want to call it? I want to be correct here for you.
Transgender individual. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, but an individual might be the wrong phrasing.
Oh,
you got to be careful about that stuff.
Sorry to offend. Yeah,
got to be careful. But what Lilly Tino does here, and this is the only thing I've ever seen this individual do, is they go around, they sit at restaurants, they get misgendered by somebody, and then they throw a fit and they try to get free comps. They try to get clicks. I mean, that's their whole thing. And this person is now under fire because they went down to Disney World and they decided to go into women's spaces, into women's bathrooms, and take pictures. And now there's being talks of there's a civil case that might be happening against it by a mother and her daughter who felt like obviously their privacy rights were violated, which... I mean, even if I was in the correct bathroom or the bathroom at all, I don't take pictures in the bathroom. But just so we get a little taste, I guess. Let's. This is pretty much the average Lilly Tino viewing experience here.
Looking.
Ooh.
Cool.
The bottom is from Thailand.
Coconut bread from Thailand.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Ma'am.
No, ma'am. Sorry, my bad. And
and that's it. Did you miss it?
Coconut bread from Thailand.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Ma'am.
No, ma'am.
See, that's it. That's the content. That is this person's entire log of content. Somebody says sir, they correct them as ma'am, and then they seed out about it for another minute, then the video ends. I haven't seen this one before, but let's see if it goes like that.
Sorry, my bad. And the middle one is from India. It's the
Obviously, you can tell from this person's accent, English is probably their second language. I would say so, right? They have a pretty thick accent. So, I mean, kudos to them. As I've tried to learn Spanish many times, I don't think I am smart enough to learn another language. I know some people are great at it. I'm really, really terrible at learning a different language. Kudos to these people, but let's continue. Do the cringe.
Okay.
And the third is from Brazil. It's a cheese bread with the guava sauce.
Thank you. It just like totally sucks the joy out of this bread tower. Makes me want to immediately like leave because I no longer feel like safe here. It's like, oh, my guard now has to be up. I'm not going to enjoy this bread as much because my guard is up. We should be able to go places and not have to worry.
Lovely individual, you can tell, right?
I don't think I really want this bread tower, actually. I think I'd rather have the check, if that's
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
I think that's the training. We're supposed to say friend or just not use gendered language. It's like a pretty big thing that Disney has done. Nothing was wrong with bread. I just don't want it anymore. Just because they apologize doesn't mean she doesn't feel sad or offended. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, if you've accidentally ever hurt someone and say, I'm so sorry, it was an accident, do you expect them to be like, oh, it was an accident? Of course, no problem whatsoever. All of that hurt is now undone. That's not how it works.
Sorry about what happened.
I can tell from your expression you're already a fan, right, Duke?
Yeah, let's finish the video.
It's okay. I would love to pay for the drink, please.
No, the drink is on YouTube, so...
You don't have, are you sure?
You're good, yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Thank you
Sorry
very
about
much.
that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
This is their content strategy in a nutshell. Go someplace, get misgendered, throw a fit, get offended, get the person who's working a job. And I've worked in the food industry, man. It sucks when people come in and they will ring you out just because they can. And this is their this is literally when I say that there is probably 100 videos of this person just doing the same thing over and over and over again. This is their content strategy. But they're not under fire because they're a horrible human being. They're under fire because of this whole thing about them using the bathrooms in Florida and invading women's and girls' spaces and making people feel uncomfortable.
Made it into Disney World. I don't really know what the deal is with bathrooms. No, Florida is really conservative. I don't know what...
You're at Disney World here, okay? If I'm at the park all day, how many times do you think I'm going to use the bathroom? I don't know, maybe once or twice, possibly?
Public restrooms, I try to use them minimally. Maybe once, twice.
Yeah, once, twice, maybe, if you're there all day, right? But, you know, just to start this off, this is what they're concerned about. They don't go to Disney World to go on the rides or to experience the characters or do any of that stuff. They're there to use the bathroom.
Made it into Disney World. I don't really know what the deal is with bathrooms. No, Florida is really conservative. I don't know what the rules are. Trans women are allowed to be in women's bathrooms.
I gotta say, I've never had this issue. I've never gone to a place and be like, you know,
you know what?
What the bathroom situation is?
A quick solution to that is, if you are one of those special situations, you should probably do your homework. And go to their website and see what their rules are.
I haven't been to Disney World in probably 15 years, but I can guarantee you that Disney has family bathrooms that you could just go into and anyone could use.
I'm sure.
But I'm about to go and use the bathroom because I have to tinkle. If I get stopped, I get stopped, I guess. But I'm a woman, so I'm going to use the women's bathroom, and being in Florida or being in California or wherever isn't going to stop me. So I will report back in a minute once I have hopefully tinkled without issue.
3 minutes.
This doesn't really seem like a sane person to me, that you're making a TikTok on how you're going to use the bathroom.
Minutes later.
That went as well as it could have gone. No one gave me any weird looks. Definitely no one stopped me. I walked in, I found a stall, I peed. I peed standing up, which is something I'm sometimes a little self-conscious about with the sound.
So you can tell, I mean, this is clearly a grift to just get attention. And I guess the thing is, I want to aggravate as many people as I possibly can.
Yeah, like you're going out of your way to pee standing up, knowing it's a female bathroom, and knowing that women who hear that are going to be like, "Wait a minute, It's gonna get
worse. It's gonna get worse.
Is there someone peeing standing up there? But you know what? I peed standing up, and it was fine. And then I washed my hands and I left. And you know what? On my way out from,
you know how often I pee standing up, Duke? Every day. I don't think I've ever. Well, I'm discussing it now, I suppose, but I'm like, I don't think I've ever had this conversation. It's like, I don't know. It's
the women's
deranged.
bathroom. I took a quick picture with someone who recognized me, and it was lovely. So overall,
It was a
Disney World
lovely
in Florida,
experience
10
to
out
use
of
a
10
public
women's bathroom
restroom.
experience for trans women. Would recommend.
Words that don't come out of anybody's mouth. I had a lovely experience using the public restroom. Oh, and as you can see here, this is an example of what this person is doing. They're going into the bathrooms. They're at Disney World to use the bathrooms. They're at Disney World to invade women and girls' spaces, make all these people behind them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, if there is a space that is supposed to have some level of privacy, it's the bathrooms, and you're just in there, TikTok and taking videos. Like, that's an invasion of privacy.
Let me say, even without the gender thing, I'd be uncomfortable if I walked into a bathroom and there's somebody you know, filming.
I don't care if I don't care about any genders. Like, if any person, of male, female, doesn't matter who you are, what you represent. You know, if you're taking pictures in the bathroom, especially if I had one of my children with me, you best believe I would say something. I'm like, please don't take pictures in the bathroom.
Oh, well,
my child is right
that's the secret to it, isn't it, though? Because you have a daughter, I have a daughter. Are you comfortable with this person taking pictures in the bathroom when your child is in there?
Not.
And it's like, I obviously, I don't go in the women's room for that very, like, I can't go in and root out if there's any weird people in there. You would just hope, no, I hope there's not. I hope whoever's in there is just using the bathroom. But
not taking TikToks and selfies and fucking catching my daughter in the background. Like, what are you doing?
This is why we're getting into this here, this whole lawsuit Wednesday, as I'm calling it, because there is going to be apparently a civil case. Lilly Tino on the TikTok mocks mom and daughter who are suing him for taking photos of them in the women's bathroom at Disney World.
Emotional distress. Last week, I was in Disney World in the women's bathroom with my child. And when I walked into the bathroom, there was Lilly Tino taking pictures in the bathroom mirror. And she turned to me and said, "Hey, let me get your face in this picture." And I said, "No, thank you." But then she took the picture anyway of me and my kid. And I felt this really weird feeling. And I looked down at my kid, and my kid got turned into a corn dog. Lilly Tino turned my kid into a corn dog. And then
do you think you should be taking pictures of women or children in a public restroom?
You went as far as to even ask, like, "Hey, let me take a picture of you," and they said no, and you still did it. Like,
well, I think this they're reciting it from the other point of view, but it's just.
But either way, my understanding is you asked, they said no, and you did it anyway. Is that not invasion of privacy in a bathroom?
I don't think anybody. I don't care if you're gay, you're straight, you're trans, whatever. Nobody should be taking.
You asked to take a picture,
nobody should be taking pictures in bathrooms.
Specifically saying no, and you do it anyway. That's an invasion of privacy. Not on the public street.
This person
in a bathroom. That's invasion.
This person clearly. I mean, from the thing I showed you, that's their content. They sit down, they get misgendered, they try to comp free meals, and they put it on their social media, and they probably get the employees in trouble. This person does not give a crap about invading anybody's privacy.
And she looked at me and said, "Oh, that'll be great for a video. Can I use your corn dog kid to explain bottom surgery?" And I was about to say no, but then J.K. Rowling walks in and says, "I'm here to defend real women." But of course, Lilly Tino pulls out her wand and starts using transgender magic. But J.K. Rowling was ready and pulled out her wand, and they did the thing where the spells go like... But J.K. Rowling was really smart and used a misgendering spell on Lilly, and Lilly got banished to the Shadow Realm.
What is this? Now, what? Yeah, what
is there's going to be a whole thing. J.K. Rowling is very in support of women's and girls' rights and stuff like that, and we're going to get into that after this. I'm not going to say what I'm thinking about saying, but she's saying J.K. Rowling has misgendered you. Okay. Or could it be...
Then J.K. Rowling turned to me and said, "Don't worry, if you get banished from the Shadow Realm, you are also banned from Disney. So you don't have to worry about Lilly Tino anymore. But you should probably still sue her for emotional distress." And then she turned my kid from a corn dog back into a kid, and we high-fived and took a bathroom selfie to celebrate.
Seems like a sane and rational individual here. Let's see if I can just skip to the J.K. Rowling thing. Here it is. This man's bathroom photos are trophies. He wants women and girls in the background because it proves he's violating women's boundaries. Without actual females there as props, all he's got is a selfie of a scary-looking creep in mouse ears, which isn't remotely what he's after. And listen, I know a lot of people, they give J.K. Rowling a lot of crap. They think, she's very harsh on the trans community. But I've never seen J.K. Rowling say that the trans people don't have the right to exist. I don't believe that either. I do think there is a point, though, when it starts to infringe on women's and girls' rights. When does it go too far? Fourth wave feminism has become men now invading women's spaces. You wanted the right to vote. Okay, you got the right to vote. Fine. That was the 1920s. 1950s, you wanted jobs. All right, you can get a job. All right, that was second wave feminism. Third wave feminism is you don't need no man. All right, you don't need no man. Fourth wave feminism is men are now women. That's what it is. It's literally, we've come full circle. In 100 years, we've come full circle. But I think what she says is right here.
That, huh?
Or what J.K. Rowling
Lilly,
says is
you
right.
can't take selfies in the bathroom. It's not appropriate. Well, let me remind you that literally every celebrity you've ever enjoyed on screen has at one point taken a bathroom selfie. For example.
Oh, wow.
And it's not just celebrities.
Did you notice a difference?
Did you see anyone else in those
For
pictures?
example,
there's nobody else in those pictures.
Any woman you ever meet has likely taken a photo in a public bathroom. Why, you ask? Because we look cute and we want to document it. So what is different about me that I'm not allowed to?
You're including other people who you don't have the consent of, and their children in your delusion, buddy. That's the difference.
Take bathroom selfies.
Yeah.
The easy answer here is, oh, Lily, you're a trans woman, so you get help.
Nope, that is not it. Even though I do think that also should bar you from the women's bathrooms personally, but that is not the issue.
A different standard, and that is true. But
no,
people judge trans women differently depending on how well they pass.
I wonder.
If you pass, that means you don't look trans. I know that
And this is contradicted. You're not really trying to pass. You're not trying to go in there and just use the bat. I mean, this
and
whole
that's not the question. Like that's a bullshit cop out because that's not
No,
the
but
question.
the
Oh,
whole-
do you pass? Like no, has nothing to do with that.
No, the whole argument's out the window because this is obviously has nothing to do with it. You obviously, we just saw the thing. Hey, I want to stand up when I pee. Okay, there are no, as far as I know, and I don't frequent women's bathrooms, but I don't think there's urinals in women's bathrooms. And I think there's a very good reason for that,
I don't pass. Trust me, I know. But passing privilege is a real thing.
Oh
there
my
are some
God.
trans women out there who, no matter how hard they try, will never be able to pass. Do those trans women deserve to be treated differently? No. They should be able to take bath.
I would go as far as to say, like, if you were taking selfies in the bathroom and nobody else was in them, it is what it is.
No,
like,
but-
take a picture of yourself in whatever situation, but you're putting other people.
No,
in it.
but it's not about that. And this person knows it's not about that. It's not Lily
Putting
Tino.
other people in them purposely.
Lily Tino is
maliciously.
doing this because I think what J.K. Rowling says is right. These women are in the background because they're set pieces for you. It's like it's a trophy thing. You could say, "Hey, I'm in here with all these women. Look at me," and you're playing the F around, find out game here. This person is so vile. The Change.org, which I don't think we've been on so far, has 517,000 people wanting this person's content removed from TikTok. 517,000 people have signed this. But as I was saying before, not just a civil case, but now there's an actual thing with the Florida Attorney General James Uthemeyer is investigating trans TikTok influencer Lilly Tino for filming in women's bathrooms at Disney. Could face up to 5 years in prison and a $5,000 fine under Criminal Code 810145.
We have a friend, lives with TikTok. And
Benny Johnson, shout out to him.
And she wanted us to ask a question about something that was going on that's very strange here in the state of Florida. Now, I know that DeSantis versus Disney is one of the hotter topics of the last couple of years. You ended up winning that brawl straight away. And I don't think Disney's functioned ever better, actually, quite frankly. A lot of things are changing in that area and region, and it's for the better.
They still can't make movies, but
Right? Universal just opened this massive new park. I've been there.
Pause it for a second.
A lot of cool stuff.
Yep.
A story that we will probably be talking about later. I don't know if they're doing better because now they're getting a lot of backlash off of one of their recent castings. It seems like every single project nowadays for Disney, they have a backlash from at least one of their questionable castings.
Oh, you're talking with Ironheart? Yeah, we'll probably cover Ironheart on Friday. I have not seen it yet. I'm not as into comics as Duke is. I probably will not see it.
I don't care about the casting personally. From my point of view, the content. I've seen one episode and I'm not impressed by the first episode, but I'm gonna watch the rest and see how it goes.
All right, I'm gonna speed this up a little bit here.
A lot of big dynamic energy in Orlando. Tying through to what you just announced this morning about child trafficking, tying through to predation, right, of vulnerable peoples here in the state of Florida. There was a TikTok influencer named Lilly Tino, who is who's taking videos and photos inside of the women's bathroom in Disney. And I'm thinking, well, wait a second. There's no way that this can be legal in the state of Florida, right? This is a transgender influencer.
I wouldn't think so. Florida they got pretty strict laws down there.
Yeah.
This seems to be like, first off, like you shouldn't be allowed to like film inside of bathrooms. It seems really creepy.
Yeah.
But then here in Disney, it's like extra layers of.
Yeah. You shouldn't be filming in anywhere. I would say anywhere.
Doesn't matter what your sex is. Doesn't matter what bathroom it is. You should not be filming in bathrooms.
But I think Benny Johnson, and that's something we didn't bring up. I think it is especially creepy to do it at Disney World.
Yeah.
Creepy and wrong. Is there anything happening from a state level on this topic?
Yeah, we're investigating this. We do not tolerate men or boys in women's and girls' restrooms, gyms, private spaces, no tolerance. We're investigating this one. We've already cracked down on some gyms in South Florida. They were allowing people that identify as women to go into women's locker rooms. We put them on notice that legal action was coming. Thankfully, they changed their ways. Alachua County, a public school system, they had a camp, Camp Crystal Lake, where they were allowing 5th grade elementary age boys to identify as girls and stay in the girls' bunks. We shut this down right away too. Thankfully, they did not fight us on it. It's amazing we have to have these conversations today. But here in Florida, we believe there are two sexes, men and women, and we are going to protect our girls at all costs.
Yeah. Listen, I think what J.K. Rowling said, and I think, hey, this is great if they can, pursue this person. Normally, I would say, oh, isn't that extreme? Don't you think that's extreme for somebody? No, I don't think. This person, I think what J.K. Rowling said is true. This person is using women and girls as set dressings to go in there like it's some victory, and you take the picture like it's a trophy. It's not about you being included or anything like that.
It's not like this person's minding their own business and then somebody's harassing them. That's not happening whatsoever.
The first clip we did, I showed you. That's not their thing. I've never gone to a restaurant and set up a selfie camera of me eating, waiting so something can happen to me. And I got long hair. I have been sometimes people will say something from behind. I have been misgendered. It's like, what am I gonna do? Oh my God, I can make money off of this somehow. It's like, oh my God, give me a break. Yeah, so I don't know. I hope they really throw the book at Lilly Tino. I hope they get banned from Disney World. This person really doesn't belong in polite society because they're not polite to anybody else. Everybody is a set dressing for their own narcissism. But we're going to move on from that. We got one more lawsuit to get into with Mr. Ethan Klein. But before that, can you please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Would you be comfortable with Lilly Tino being in a bathroom with your child? Actually, I think
not even that. Would you be?
Everybody's going to say no.
Anyone taking pictures in the bathroom with you and your child in there?
No.
I know I wouldn't.
And it really bothers me too, because it's like I have a daughter. She's 9 years old. I can't go in the bathroom with her. And it's just you assume it's just a safe space. You assume nothing weird's going to happen. It's a bathroom, but then
you definitely assume that nobody's taking pictures of your child in the bathroom, but.
But
they are.
Then there are people like Lilly Tino who it's like and you gotta really you're not helping the trans community, but I don't think it's about helping the trans community. I really just think it's all about you and your narcissism, and that's all it is.
If it was about helping the trans community, you would do your research. You would make sure that you follow the laws that are set in place.
Well, they don't care what laws are in place. They don't care about doing anything with being
pictures in bathrooms.
They don't care about anything.
No reason to take pictures. You want to take a selfie? All right, here's a wall. Here's you. You take a picture of you against the wall.
We've already established.
You can still do whatever you want to do. You can still look as cute as you want. You can do whatever.
Well,
it has nothing to do with anyone else.
Yeah, yeah. We've already established though it's not about that at all. I don't think it is. So we're going to get into our last topic of the day. We're following up on the lawsuit from Mr. Ethan Klein, who is alleging that Casey Tron, Frogan, and Denims violated fair use by blatantly saying that they would rather you watch the stuff with them than go support Ethan Klein. Now, Ethan Klein has made this very clear. It's not about the money. He's not trying to nuke the commentary community on YouTube or anything like that. But he does want there to be some accountability with the stealing of content. And he went as far as to already file this with the United States Library of Congress to make sure that he has the copyright on this video. Now, people are going to say this is entrapment. We're going to actually get into legal mindset. Is going to be like, no, it's not entrapment. But just for a little recap here.
Now, I want to make it clear again, and I hope it's been obvious about why I'm suing these three people and not others. These people not only violated all of the principles of fair use, they also did it maliciously. And that's the part that really got me. I think if you're a reactor on Twitch, for the most part, if you make a good faith effort to comment, and if you make a good faith effort to promote the author, to link to them, to try to drive traffic to the original video, I think you're probably pretty much doing the right thing, and that's fine.
So what basically, what he's saying is true. It's not the fact that it's even lazy commentary, because a lot of people make lazy commentary. It's not even about that. It's the fact that after the video was over, they said, hey, thank you for watching it here. Don't support Ethan Klein. Give your money to me. And that's malicious.
That's definitely malicious.
It's the malicious aspect of it. It's not going out and being like, man, I didn't like that video, or I thought he had a bad take, which they would have said anyway. But it was specifically because they said, I want to make the money that this guy obviously should make off of his hard work. That's his point.
And I would never sue someone.
Thank you for giving me his money.
Yeah, that's what they said. That's why they're being sued.
For that. Take it to these three absolute morons to state their intention to steal my property on video. You know, and to all the detractors who are saying that I'm targeting women, that I'm a hypocrite for suing for copyright infringement, I just have this to say. I don't care. What I do hope, though, is that you'll support their crowdfunding efforts to defend themselves. Because let's face it, I want to make sure there's money left over for me when I win my lawsuits.
I never thought I'd be rooting for Ethan Klein as hard as I am, really, because I don't agree with his politics, and Ethan Klein has had a lot of bad takes over the years. I never thought there'd be some timeline where I'd be cheering on Ethan Klein, but I hope he does sue them into the ground. Oh, hold on. Oh, wait, hold on.
Base? Base?
I was supposed to play that right after that video. I forgot. But yeah, Ethan Klein's being pretty based right now. So, Tectone says, Denims and Casey are begging for $100K for the lawsuits. Frogan is begging for $200K. I guess legal fees increase if you're over a certain weight limit. Yes, we all know Frogan is a very big individual right here. You know, she's been compared to Thomas the Tank, which is I can see it. You know, they resemble each other. Maybe they're like cousins or something. Kind of, they look alike. I can see that. So I want to get into the fundraisers here. So far, who is leading right now? This is Denim's lawsuit. She's at, let me refresh this. I just want to see if anyone else has donated. Oh, she's at 29,000 right now. Good for Denim's. I don't even know how she's funding this right now because there's a genocide going on. There's a genocide going on in Palestine. And you're giving $29,000 to fund this lawsuit just so you can fill Ethan Klein's coffers? Shame on you, Denims. Who else is doing this? Frogan. Oh, is Frogan lagging behind now? Oh, Frogan has taken second place. She's now at $27,000. After nearly 2 years of a targeted harassment campaign against me, Ethan Klein has now escalated into suing me for reacting to his video on Hassan and myself on his video titled Content Nuke Hassan Piker. That is not the reason he's suing you. This fundraiser is to cover any and all legal fees associated with his complaints and counterclaims I may have against him and any other bills and personal expenses from lost wages and damages arising from this litigation. And then in last place here, we have Casey Tron, who I don't even know. I have no idea who Casey Tron is. I know the other two. I do not know Casey Tron. And she's lagging behind the worst. But you can tell that these three individuals have not lawyered up yet because their responses have been outright terrible to this lawsuit. Let's see here. First, we're going to get into... Yeah, I guess I'll skip around here a little bit. I'm a little out of order. See what Denims has to say here. Denims, who was in first place, she's got the gold cup for giving money to Ethan Klein.
On a grander scale. If you check your bank account and like Chase accidentally refunded you an extra $50, you might look at that and be like they were supposed to refund you for some charge or something, and then they accidentally gave you another $50. And you see that and you're like, I didn't see anything. Well, listen, they can correct it. They can find it themselves. They can correct it. I don't really care that much, all right? I don't really care that much. Okay. If some old lady on the street is like, hey, do you have change for a $10 bill? Nobody carries cash around. But like, do you have change for a $10 bill? I just need to pay the meter. Mm-hmm. And she hands you a $50 bill instead of a $10 bill and says, oh, times are so tough right now. But, got to pay the meter. And you keep the 50. See how one of those feels morally worse?
So you think stealing is based on morality when it's just based on theft? It's interesting. You can tell this Denims here does not have a lawyer yet because no, that's still, they're both still theft.
Theft is theft, yeah.
And also, if you're gonna, I don't know why you're saying that Ethan Klein is like the Chase Bank. Is it because he's Jewish? Is that a Jewish joke, or is that because? Ethan Klein has money. I'm not gonna say he isn't, but context-wise, he's still a small business owner. He employs people and all that stuff, but he's not a corporation. So I don't really see how that flies. But Denims here is she's not known for being that intelligent.
One of those feels like you're stealing from someone who does need it, or you're stealing from, I don't know, not a corporation. One of those feels worse. We're not talking about legality. It's theft regardless. We're talking.
It's theft regardless. Exactly. So let's end it there. It is theft regardless. Exactly. Casey Tron has a different approach. I think I like her approach better, actually.
Just because I didn't react to his stupid video, he had to make up that I did and put a video of me smoking weed over his stupid video.
She didn't react to it. It was AI, folks. It was AI. He AI'd Casey Tron into reacting over the video. And maybe if you didn't take 42 bong rips in 3 hours, maybe you remember doing that.
To get attention.
But I like her strategy.
I'm sorry, I don't give a fuck about your video. Like.
You did make money reacting to it and then claiming, you don't care about Ethan Klein, pay you.
I don't know. I
like her strategy, though.
Reacting to it. I don't believe that I reacted to it.
She doesn't believe she reacted to it. Case closed, right? Done.
I do not remember. I don't know. I may have been under the influence, but I do not recall reacting to it. Just because
it works for all drunk drivers. I don't remember, running those people over in my car. So therefore, what are you gonna do, Your Honor? I didn't do it. I don't remember it. Oh, I wanted to bring this up from Legal Mindset too, because somebody brought up that this feels like entrapment because Ethan Klein now spelled out his intentions, and Legal Mindset here, YouTube lawyer, is going to go into no. There is. I'll let him explain it.
Poet says, just got here and wondering if what Ethan did is considered entrapment. Sorry, and once again, I want to explain this stuff. I'm just laughing in general. So, and that's not a thing. You're probably thinking about like police entrapment or something else different. This is not criminal. This is copyright infringement. So no, there's no such thing in the law of entrapment. It's enforcing your right. And I use the example once again of the house, right? So it's like putting an alarm on your house. Is that trapping the burglar?
It could be. By their definitions, they would be like, yeah, that is entrapment. Exactly. How dare you defend your own property? Well, and Legal Mindset, he's an actual lawyer, stuff like that. I wanted to include this too. Meltdown from Taylor Lorenz, one of my favorite journalists, has been really going hard after Ethan Klein. Ethan says he almost felt bad for Taylor Lorenz until he reread a message she allegedly left from her burner account. She's a journalist, participated in the CPS lie, obviously referring to them calling CPS on Ethan's children to try to get them taken away because he mentioned on the podcast that they had giardia. And giardia, I guess, is a very common thing that people can get.
I don't know what that is.
Giardia, it's like some type of bacterial infection, I guess. It causes diarrhea. You get it from, I guess you contract it from feces, and I guess, they said, oh, well, my dog got giardia, then my son got giardia. His son is like, I don't know, like a year or two old. So his son might have put something in his mouth that was unclean, and it gave him diarrhea, I guess. And for that, they're like, oh, well, you know, Ethan Klein can't have his kids anymore. It's like, you know, that's why I don't care about these people. It's like, you know, you cross the line. I mean, you can criticize Ethan on a lot of things, man. A lot of things. But, like, trying to get his kids removed, that's where all this stems from. This whole thing blew up because you went too far with it, and I just have no sympathy for you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're trying to mess up the guy's actual life. But, let's see. I mean, Taylor Lorenz here, who was an actual journalist, was employed at one point by Washington Post, is on the H3 Snark page. We're not going to go through all this. I don't even think we really need to go through this.
No.
But,
we know what happened. Yeah.
But pretty much it's just, you know, she's a Hassan ball washer. This is her being an unbiased journalist covering this topic.
He's
talking about Hamas, Diddy, baby oil piker.
the other thing with Hassan, he's unreasonably good looking and like cool and dresses cool.
Tell me about it.
But do you know what I mean? Like Hassan would be an influencer no matter what he was saying, because he is.
This woman's like 45, by the way. 45-year-old woman.
Is
hot,
very attractive and very cool and genuinely a good person too. I will say, like, Hassan is actually a cool, fun, good person. The other thing with
I would disagree with all of that. Hassan probably has the worst political takes on everything. All these people are affected because they're his orbiters, and all of them got dragged into this thing just because Ethan Klein does not 100% agree on every single thing that Israel as a country. He agrees like 90% of the way. 90% of the way, not 100%. That 10% has really cost them. I got this article from Cat 10 Barge, which I'm like, I don't know. You want to go into it? I don't really even want to go into it. This is slop. I haven't seen Cat 10 Barge in years.
Trying to say he's misogynist.
She is one of the biggest Amber Heard ball washers ever. Johnny Depp, because we didn't all watch the trial. Doesn't matter if you watch the trial. Misogyny. You know, I completely forgot about Cat 10 Barge. So yeah, we're not gonna go through all this. Yeah,
it's not really worth mentioning. It's...
I think it's worth mentioning. I don't know if I really want to get into it because that it goes to the whole journalistic aspect of it. That there's actual. I mean, I guess if you use the term journalism loosely, but yeah, these people, they're not respectable people. I don't think it helps their cause. I don't think having Taylor Lorenz come to your defense is ever going to be a good idea. She has, you know, she's been kicked out of pretty much every major news source. Cat 10 Barge. I mean, she's writing for Spitfire News here, so. And you can tell from the title, Ethan Klein's War on Women, because apparently if women steal your content, you're just supposed to allow that because, hey, they're women, you know? Yeah. I don't know. Equality, not equality, I have no idea. But yeah, let's not read that. Let's try to wrap it up here. I know you're not feeling too well, so.
Well, thank you for that. Sorry, I'm a little...
I know. I see you're like dipping out, so I'm like, yeah.
My head is pounding.
No, you're
anyway,
all right.
Make sure to like and share. Let us know what you thought about all that. Wonderful Lawsuit Wednesday.
Lawsuit Wednesday. I know I couldn't find any better terminology, unfortunately. I was trying to think of it all morning, but all right, yeah. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. What was your favorite segment? What segment you didn't like? What do you think about all these lawsuits happening? Was there a good name I could have used for Lawsuit Wednesday? Because I was thinking about it, but I was like, I just couldn't think of anything.
Yeah, maybe you have a recommendation.
All right, and we will be back on Friday. We will catch you in the next one. Thank you for joining us. I am Dutch. Over there is Duke, and yeah, we'll talk to you later.
See you later.